Perfect. So, hey everyone, let's get started. So, we are going to look at what futures thinking is. It's a very basic definition of what it is. And you'll see on different slides, there are lots of different frameworks and mentioned. But we won't go into depth with each of those. Those are there for you to get a sense of what all different type of tools exist within futures thinking. Because when we say futures thinking, a lot of people are aware of scenario planning and those kind of things, which are part of futures thinking, but then there is a vast variety of other tools as well. So let me just walk us through that. Um,
I'm not seeing your screen.
yes, I'm trying.
You
Yeah,
started? Okay.
somehow Zoom is 1 second. Yes, now I can do it. Yes, awesome. So I present. Yes. Okay. So first of all, about me, I run a community called World We Desire, which is in Bangalore, and it is a community of students and aspiring entrepreneurs, and I'm based out of Bangalore. And so I conduct mostly futures thinking, speculative design kind of workshops, which are very playful. So that's about me. Now, what exactly is futures thinking? Now, futures thinking is something basically at the like very simple definition is something which a modality which lets us think for long term. So 20 to 30 years from now, how do we envision that kind of a future? Futures thinking tools lets us do that, and because of that, it lets us navigate through uncertainty. There is another picture, this one, which kind of lays down where futures thinking lies in different modalities. Most of us know design thinking, strategy, but futures thinking includes art as well. It includes strategy as well. There's something called design futures. That also. So the framework we are going to look at today is falls under design futures. Still part of futures thinking, but also design. Something called speculative design also, which is widely used, and design fiction, which is widely used to come up with future visions, especially when the past data is not available. When we work with corporates, a lot of past history is there. But when we work with, let's say, startups or those, then that much of past history is not there at that time. Speculative design or design fiction kind of tools can come handy because it lets you imagine something the end of the future vision. Yeah. So these are some of the sayings that are there in futures thinking, which may let us understand what it represents. So there's no one future. So future thinking is never about predicting a future. That's why it's called futures thinking. There's always a plural to that. Um, and there are lots of different types of futures. So just like Eskimos have lots of names for ice, futurists have lots of names for different type of futures. Some of those are very obvious, like probable future, preferable futures, but then there are something called mutant future, disowned future, used future. Those kind of lot of different terminologies exist. This is another statement, which is like any useful statement about the future should first sound ridiculous. And that's what I tell my workshop participants always, that if something is sounding really ridiculous, then you really hit it. Uh, and then there's something called to look forward, look prices back in the past to see, like if we want to see 10 years in advance, look 20 years in past to see how rapid the progress had been. So futures thinking, even though it says futures, it uses a lot of past, it uses a lot of present and future, all of these data together. So most of the tools that you see will have past or present embedded in that, and that's where we take it from. And so why as a change maker you should care about futures thinking? It's because so that we are solving, it ensures that we are solving the problems of not just the past and the present, but also what exists today, but also will continue also the problems of the future, the risk, the opportunities, the problems of the future. So it gives a head start in a way to have foresight as your practice. And foresight and futures thinking, I'll use the word interchangeably. Who does it? So there are very interesting examples. Like Shell was the pioneer in terms of futures thinking. It started it way, way, way back. And it used to do scenario planning and all of those things because of so much uncertainty in the oil industry, oil and gas industry. So they were the pioneers. They came up with like really this long view, taking a long view of strategy and different type of strategies when to implement what. But again, like I said, scenario planning is one thing which many people are aware of, but there are many tools and frameworks. There's this book called The Art of Long View, which is like a very old book, which covers Shell's journey about all of these things. But it's a very good book. I would highly recommend that. So Shell is one which uses like in a very strategic way. But I remember reading one article, although I couldn't find it again to verify, that even for Amazon Echo, when they were about to come out with the Echo, first they sat down, the whole team sat down from different departments, and they wrote what the future media, how will media react to it when the product is launched. This was when they hadn't even decided anything about any feature, anything about Echo, but they started with how will media respond, and from that future, then they work backwards. So basically, the point is like the uh, as a change maker, how you use futures could be very strategic to very basic, but it really helps in either ways. Okay. Now I'll walk us through what are some of the mindsets that are there required when we think about futures. And I'm just taking all of this information from this tool, which we'll work on today, which is developed by DFI, Design Futures Initiative, and it's relatively a new tool. And it is called Future X Design, more of a design futures kind of a tool. But the mindsets that are required are first, no, most of the tools that we work with within futures thinking lets you extrapolate. Like it will start either from the present and lets you extrapolate to the future and then work backwards. So we are always traveling either from present to the future first and from future to back later. Or we are traveling from past patterns to the future patterns, extrapolated future patterns, and then coming back to the present reality and doing that. So extrapolation is extrapolating what the signals of change are in the present, extrapolating the past patterns if we have enough history. That is one of the mindset that most of the frameworks methodology that most of the frameworks utilize. Then create, and that's what we are going to do today, like creating those future artifacts or something. It could be a scenario, it could be a forecast, it could be a future object that they create, so that there's something to have a discourse about. Like you can take this thing and just run it with different people and have a discourse around that. Headlines of the future, there's something called passive scenario, like different type of scenarios, and all of those things fall under create. And what I am also, just a little plug in, like what I'm also trying to do these days is to come up with my project of vocabulary of the future. How will the dictionary of the future look like? What type of words would be there? And we'll do a little bit of exercise around that as well. And then the third mindset is experience. Once we have created that prototype, then let people, through that discourse, let people experience and empathize with the uh, future civilization or whatever, right? So I was reading this book called How to Be a Good Ancestor, and what the thing says like that empathy does not travel in time. Like we are able to empathize with our current uh, people around us, but we haven't been empathizing with the future generation so far, and that's why all of these things, right? So this kind of process lets us experience how things will be in the future, empathize with that, and then think of the solution. And the last step is definitely to come back in the present. Like if this kind of future exists, what would my strategies would be in the present. So we would travel back into present with most of the tools that we use in future thinking. So these are the basic mindsets. And if you are wondering, like, okay, I already know so many different disciplines, where will I integrate future thinking within my practice? There's this 70-20-10 rule. Like 70% of the time you might spend mostly in maintaining what you are already doing. 20% of the time you may be spending as an entrepreneur, a social, a change maker. And then 10% of the time could be spent on like your visionary ideas, which are out of the like totally ridiculous ones. And that could be your 10% where you are thinking, using maybe these futures methodologies or foresight practices. And if you want to get started with future thinking, what is a place to get started with is something called signals of change. Now, everybody, I'm assuming, would know what future signals of change are, but because we are going to do the exercise, just so that we are all on the same page with the term. Any signals of change are weak, like we want to, in future thinking, we want to catch the weak signals, meaning those signals which are yet to become a trend. Like they are in the early stages, but may become a trend someday. We don't know, or not. So those weak signals could be in the realm of technology. It could be a scientific breakthrough. It could be a new policy that has launched. We don't know whether it will work or not, but it's a new policy. Or it could be weird public behavior where people, for example, in Japan, people spend a lot of money on, let's say, renting a family, or they spend a lot of money in buying dresses for uh, animes and stuff like that, right? So those kind of behavior could be and fall under signals of change. So that's about what futures thinking is. I'll pause here before we start the exercise, and just any reflections, any thoughts, anybody has. No?
I have questions if no one.
Yes, please go for it. Yes.
But these are tiny, tiny clarification questions. Can I say them all at once? I think it's
Yeah.
going to be better. I wanted to know who coined the term futures thinking, because there were a lot of similarities with utopian thinking. The second was, I was a bit confused that a company like Shell would be a pioneer in this. I'm a bit confused, I guess, whether this is a market-oriented paradigm we are in or not necessarily. And also, how does this relate to social change? Because I think in the announcement there was mention of that. So those were the three things I kind of wanted to know more about.
Yeah. So for futures thinking, I'm not sure who coined the word, but it had been around for many years. Jim Datter was one of the initial futurists. So I don't know, but who coined the word? With Shell, I think it, more than futures, there are two words. One is futures thinking, and another one is foresight, strategic foresight, right? So which are sometimes used parallelly, interchangeably, but it is mostly the strategic foresight that Shell had been using. And yes, so at the moment it is mostly used for corporates. Uh, and but what I found is if we adapt the tool with my clients and stuff when I work, if we adapt the tool for social change makers, if we adopt the tool for early stage entrepreneurs, it does work. Like there are certain tools which won't work because it requires past history, but there are other tools where you can work with in these two segments. Did I answer all of those or something else?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think yes. So for now, social change kind of was not in there in the presentation because I guess what we're gonna do in the exercise is a bit of be reappropriating this model and making it our own.
Yeah, we'll be more. So this the why we are doing this, we are starting with this model is because me and Hais were talking, and he was talking about a creative playground kind of an exercise where and that's when I thought this tool would be really helpful to come up with some prototype artifact of the future. So we're mainly going to focus on how to come up with an artifact of the future.
All right, I see. Nice, thank you.
Most welcome. So again, the exercise that we are going to do, I have like this. This is a very elaborate exercise in general, but I have for our purpose I've just simplified it. So we're just going to do a simplified version of it and just focus more on our discussions. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to share the Miro board. Just give me a second. No. 1 second. Okay, my Miro board is gone somewhere. 1 second.
While we're getting the Miro board, I just wanted to make a small reference to a recent event that Vikalp Sangam organized that looked into science fiction and climate scenarios and climate activism. And in particular at science fiction writing from the global south. This is it's an active process. This kind of reappropriation of these tools. It's happening right now. So we're participating in that process.
Yeah, like some of the other things in terms of the create mindset, somebody created the website of the future, where what type of products would be there, you can imagine, and what pricing would be there. And then somebody has created a manual for auto cars, auto-driven cars, right? And so, well, yeah, so those kind of artifacts exist. Yeah. I'm gonna check out, look up some of that thing. Awesome. So this one is the board. Let me share the link. And since we are four, we'll just work on it together. All four of us are a team. I hope everybody is at board one.
It's still opening for me.
Okay. Is everybody on the board?
Yeah. So board one, yeah?
Yeah.
I see your Jugalbandi.
Okay.
There's also a way to follow somebody's cursor, no? I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, me neither. I think it's in mural.
Oh, oops.
I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Where are you, Jansu? Where's your cursor?
I'm not
there
sure.
You
it's
oh. Yeah, I see you. You have to go to the right.
I can just give you the board. 1 second. We've lost Hamim.
Oh. Where did that happen?
This is the board. Yeah.
So
yay, there she is. Do you see these different ones? Board one, board two, board three. So we're looking at board one.
Okay, so we just zoom in basically. The gigantic thing.
Yes, zoom.
All right.
Awesome. Awesome. So here's the step one. Should we wait for Hamim or?
Interesting question. I switched off my phone Wi-Fi because I thought it was interfering with the computer. So let's see if he's sent any message.
So in the meantime, that's a question for you. Like if we have to create a prototype, which area would you like to create? There are 3 options, but you can go beyond that as well, whatever you like. It could be either related to education, travel, or commerce, or if you want to select something completely different also.
This is going to be for everyone that I choose or just for me individually?
This is going to be for everyone.
Okay. Maybe 3?
3?
Commerce.
Okay. Oh, commerce. Awesome. Oh, nice. This is going to be tough. We chose a nice. Okay, now this is the challenge. You have to tell me a signal of change related to commerce, meaning any news headlines that you may have read or something that you're following in commerce.
Signal
What
of
is it?
change.
Yes, signal of change related to commerce. Yes.
So you said signal of change. It could be technology, scientific
Breakthrough, it could
improvements,
be,
policy,
yes.
and public
Uh,
behavior.
yes, weird public behavior. Yes.
Something surprising.
Yeah.
So like, could it be like boycotting of certain?
But it has to be real. It has to be something that is happening at the moment, in the present.
Okay, could be the boycotting of McDonald's and Starbucks that's going on.
Okay. Awesome. And now we have to expand on this signal. Like in the future, it could be any future. It could be 2030, it could be 2050, it could be 2069 or whatever. But what if we were to expand this signal, if it becomes a norm and if it grows, how would it look like?
Um, so it's kind of like the ideal scenario that comes after the boycotting.
It could be good scenario, it could be bad scenario. But
Oh,
what is your extrapolation of it? It could be anything. It's your take.
It's kind of making it extreme,
Yeah.
amplifying.
Yeah. Like it becomes a norm and then what happens?
yeah, I guess like the most extreme would be the failure of these big
They are extinct, maybe.
brands.
Huh? Yeah. Yeah. So how would you define it?
Like a historical defeat of McDonald's and Starbucks against consumers reclaiming their autonomy. I don't know.
Yeah. So they are extinct now. They don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, Hamim is back. Hi, Hamim. Hello, Hamim.
I am sorry. Like I got a call now. That's I got disconnected. Yeah, I'm back.
No problem, no
Ah,
problem. We just started with like the first step of this thing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, we are saying we are going to create an artifact related something to do with commerce, and the
Hmm.
signal of change that is being presented as like boycotting of McDonald's and Starbucks that is going on right now.
Hmm.
And then what if we expand it to future? What happened was, and so this is our imaginary future. So we don't have to be correct or strategic about it. It's whatever we feel like it when we expand. So in this imaginary future, there's a historical defeat of McDonald's and Starbucks. Both of these corporations no longer exist now. Okay.
Yeah.
and can I ask some questions about this future?
Yes.
Yeah. To me,
Is it only McDonald's and Starbucks, or are they like are there more such organizations that have been defeated by these reclaiming consumers?
Yeah. Jansu, what do you think?
Oh, I have to say.
Yeah. It's your world. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know I was getting into this like this. Historical defeat of McDonald's and Starbucks. Is it just them or others? Uh, I don't know. It could be what you want, Hais.
Yeah.
I just randomly thought of those two. I'm sure there is more. Do you
Oh,
mean in the sense that instead of putting a historical defeat, we put something more like what's the change in the consumer behavior? rather than something being closed or.
Yeah, and also is it because McDonald's and Starbucks they are kind of symbols of a wider sector of firms, no? So the and are they being boycotted by consumers with a specific agenda? You know, so what does it mean for them? They tried to convince consumers that no, we exist to maximize shareholder value, and then the consumers were like, they basically took away their license to operate, and they said, no, if you're not sticking to our demands in whatever the consumer manifesto is, then we're gonna not buy your product. But then what about, I don't know, I'm just assuming that there are more than just two companies. So my assumption would be in this world, there's a whole class of companies that basically don't exist anymore and cannot exist. They're no longer feasible.
Yes.
Okay.
So what, end of capitalism? What are we talking about?
We don't know yet.
I guess it depends what trend we are amplifying. No, so are we amplifying this trend of consumers who want brands to behave in a certain way? And now in this world, if the power is with organized consumers, it might still be capitalism, but it would be a different power hierarchy.
Sure.
Yeah. So the next prompt is the same, like just experience this world, just spend some time in this world, and what does it feel like? Yeah. So whatever you were discussing, I think you can continue discussing this. Yeah. Just to get a feel of what's happening in this world.
I'm imagining that there'll be headlines, that say that there's like a consumer court, there's like a consumer jury that has decided that this company, cannot, they cannot operate, basically like the coltan mines in the Congo are being closed because the consumers refuse to buy from brands who are sourcing from there. So I think it also is a world in which decision makers are very concerned about the perception, and so I think what is happening is that there's a lot of research being done, like constant polling about what are the opinions of people. I'm also sure that many firms are going to try and manipulate, a bit like in politics, no? Because it's a bit like a popularity contest. So they're going to get really good, I think, at greenwashing and rainbow washing and all kinds of washing to win the favor of the most vocal consumer spokespeople.
Or the ones that spend the most.
Yeah, interesting.
Or the purchasing power, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's true what you said. It's going to come down to a political aspect where if there is a certain democratic power given to citizens to take decisions that, shape corporates, definitely this is a bit like a political system, and, the majority rules then applies to the most money rules again, maybe, I don't know.
At the same time, also, I remember, do you know this thing called carrot mob? It is basically the opposite of a boycott, no? It's like an organized campaign by consumers to purposefully support a particular brand that they feel is like a living the alternative, or is like prefiguring the kind of preferred behavior. So in this world, I think, you will get a lot of organized consumer groups. Like right now, you might have activist campaigns that target. They do a lot of research on like who's doing what, and in this case, you will have, I think this very strategic use of consumer favor to reward certain brands that it is, I think there's a lot of popularity contest flavor to it. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's only ethical groups of consumers. It could also mean very, very nationalistic groups of consumers, or very kind of consumers who bring their values into their purchasing decision en masse.
Yeah. Wow. Yes, awesome. Hamim, you want to add something? I know you joined in between, so might not be.
Yeah, actually, I'm finding it very interesting, like the points you people are telling. So I just want to add this point. Maybe instead of competition, there might be collaborations in this capitalist world. Like these companies might be, collaborating, against the voices. Yeah.
Against the voices, or they're collaborating with consumers? No, they're collaborating among themselves. Is it?
Yeah. I'm seeing something like that also.
Okay. Nice.
Why are they doing that, or how is that playing out, Hamim? Is it because they're afraid of this consumer power and they want to kind of band together to protect themselves against that?
Yeah, for example, like nowadays, people are boycotting Starbucks, KFCs, these kind of things. Maybe there is a chance of these people come in a collaboration, like they are introducing a new product, like they are collaborating and introducing a new product. Uh, I'm not sure. Like if they are feeling that their profit is going less or more people are boycotting or these things, there is a chance of they become uniting and doing something against that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's this power equation in this world.
Yes, definitely there's a power equation.
Yeah. Consumers are united, and companies are people. Okay, so we move to the next prompt. Okay, so what type of object exists in this imaginary world?
Object.
Yes, an object. It could be a tool. It could be an actual object. Yeah. What is that future artifact which exists in this world? You guys mentioned a lot about polling and stuff like that.
There seems to be a lot of need for information in this world. Like the consumers will want to know, like, where does this brand sit in the ranking of like okay versus not okay. And at the same time also there seems to be this need for mobilizing. So if you want to quickly mobilize like millions and millions of consumers, maybe there's some kind of a tool that makes that possible to collectivize this purchasing power. I also, at the dystopian version of this, I see that there's a lot of spying. I think there'll be a lot of, corporates who are fearful of like new trends of boycotts, and they will they will have like infiltration of like consumer movements.
Yeah.
But what's the artifact? What is the artifact that that is tangible in this future?
I like what you said, need for information and something that mobilizes a huge amount of crowd.
Or actually, okay, another, I'm a bit in the dystopian mood, but
no.
yeah, I'm imagining if I'm a corporate and I have these fears coming, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like take away my brand. You know, my brand is nowhere to be seen. It's like a no logo packaging.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yes.
So,
but how will you make profit then?
I'll figure it out. You know, I'll have this.
Or you can just bring good products in the world. That's all.
It's like silent brand or like Binami Land. You know what I mean? Like it's the same corporate, but you have to take some time and a lot of research to find out. You know what I mean? Because I also from a dystopian perspective thinking one that corporates would try to lobby and ban boycotting with stay like in the and the second is that if that's not happening, they'll definitely try to rebrand themselves in some way, you know? Like their tags won't look like the same. Their advertisement won't look like the same. Maybe, you know, L'Oreal won't have this, you know, website where it shows all the other brands that comes under it. Maybe they'll register all of them in different, whatever, entities. It'll look like a broken down corporate. And maybe, more shareholders. I don't know.
Yeah, it's reminding me.
But none of these are objects, so I don't know what I'm.
No, yeah. We think through once we think this way, we'll arrive at the object. So you guys are headed in the right direction. That's perfect. It's reminding me of this thing, right? When some financial disaster had happened, there was this one company which was all it did was it just rebranded itself. That's all. Like it's a very common well-known company, but I'm just not recalling the name. But yeah, they just rebranded themselves. Yeah.
So maybe the object has to do something with that, like a very quick change in identity. You know, it could be maybe is like there's a type of packaging that if you send like a particular signal, it changes color. So you know, and brands, they will have this tool that if they realize that, oh, our like Coca-Cola is being boycotted and everybody's recognizing, oh yeah, red and white, no, we don't want that, they'll just quickly change all their packaging to blue, and then nobody realizes that it's the thing that they were supposed to boycott. And so I'm thinking of this. Yeah, it could be like a nanotechnology in the packaging that, you know, they're kind of riding the public opinion, and based on that, they'll just quickly change the look of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, some kind of a barcode or scan, whatever nano thing is going on is.
But is it happening when it's about to reach the customer, or it's happening when is it happening when the change?
I think it might happen when actually what reminded me of this is that there's a kind of glue that responds to radio. So it's not a kind of a chemical stick glue, but it's a micro geometric shape glue. And if you expose it to a certain type of radio waves, it changes and it's kind of a little like nano puzzle, and it opens. So there's this company in the Netherlands, they put flooring, and then they basically can unglue the flooring so they can take it out. So then I was thinking of like this radio signal. Not everybody, not all consumers might not have access to this this kind of vibe machine, but for example, supermarkets might, it might be like brands might have their people in supermarkets that can quickly go across the shelves with their brand and like send it some radio vibes or some like
AI. They can use AI.
AI, of course. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they can do machine learning to kind of detect. Yeah, I'm also seeing. I don't know what Heis told me. Really makes me visually see like these packaging, branding, culture completely change. Where it's not about that big logo of McDonald's and that red color and the yellow color. They all kind of like become less and less detectable, identifiable, but you have as a consumer the right to kind of scan this thing and check out who this is. And they also have this machine learning thinking, if the same product is getting too much scanned, there's a scrutiny. So they kind of so the machine learning kind of responds to that there is some kind of scrutiny. Okay, we have to change things. And again, yeah, become this ghost corporate.
Ghost corporate, I like that.
Yeah, it's like a cat and mouse game. It looks like you have these investigative consumers, and they're Tom and Jerrying, and the brands are like, "Oh, you thought I was here? Bloop! No, I'm no longer here." No.
Yeah. Yeah. So the brands are still not interested in changing themselves. They're like their actual products. They're just playing with the branding and stuff again.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. This is the future artifact. Nice. Wow. So brands are quickly changing and becoming ghost corporates, and they are utilizing AI to see if there is something there within the larger consumer, if something is happening. Yeah, as a trigger. Awesome. So you already did it, Ansu, but still, what are the emotions or the push-pull people are feeling in this world? So there was this fear by the corporates that you mentioned. What else? What type of emotions exist in this world? Maybe just two emotions.
Mob culture.
Mob culture. But you mentioned carrot mob, which is a more peaceful one. Yeah.
Well, it could, but it could turn like you could have fascist consumer mob that that will they will boycott any corporate who has like fair labor contracts and like women dare to work there. Women shouldn't be working. We want to buy only from corporates where women are at home and they're birthing children. And so I think this kind of mobbish sense, I think kind of this tribalism in the not so positive sense of the word. Like it matters a lot what kind of collective you are a part of, because it's, as this cat and mouse game is happening, is way too much for an individual consumer to make sense of, like who's up, who's down, who changed their name to what, like what color are we looking for today. So you rely a lot on a circle that you trust. So
that's what
this community of consumers and informers is really key. And that they're being infiltrated by these corporate snitches. So yeah, there's constantly that kind of anxiety that you can't really trust your own senses anymore.
Yes.
Because the stuff that you see, it could be AI generated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of suspicion.
Yes, lack of trust, suspicion.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Hamim.
Oh, see you later, Hamim.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
But you said two different, no, you want positive and negative or kind of extremes. So
yeah, but each they will automatically be an extreme. Like there's maybe constant anxiety, and then some people who are so gullible that they trust everything. Probably
or
people from
and there
previous.
could be celebration too. Sometimes when there are defeats, even if they are small, there could be a celebratory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, for example, if you are a brand with a very loyal customer base who understands each other really well, and maybe they know each other, really well, they're somehow in touch with each other through some other way. Maybe they're all, I don't know, they're all like the same, they follow the same soccer team, or they do the same hobby, or they live in the same village, or somehow there's this trust. If there is the trust, then like really fast success is possible, because the power is no longer with investors. The power is with consumers.
Yes.
So, a consumer group can like launch a new brand really, really fast, because that is the most important thing in this world.
Yeah.
So there's like a steep wave up and a steep crash down, both.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What else? What is the opposite of people feeling constant anxiety versus and lack of trust too?
So it's also exciting, no? It's also it's like you can get a lot of adrenaline rush from this. This kind of future.
Yeah. Yeah.
Adventure.
Beautiful. This was great. Yeah.
And also, knowledge exchange and solidarity, I don't know, my grandma might not be up to, knowing all this information, and I don't know, there could be, people helping each other also along the way to make sense of all of this, because it just sounds so hectic at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. And I think what you mentioned about the intergenerational relationship can also change a lot. Like it's most likely young people who are able to like deal with fast-paced changing of information will have much more weight.
Yeah. Yeah. I like how.
And also if this whole barcode thing is there and there's a lack of trust, people also could more and more, prioritize at the max that they can brands that, they physically know, like I physically know where my pillow, where the place where my pillow was made. I know the place. I don't have that, I'm not super alienated from, this dress is on me. I don't know where the cotton is from, who stitched it,
Yeah.
So they could be also, I guess it's not emotions though, but suddenly it may.
Yeah, no, this was good. Like the whole life cycle they are aware of any product. Yeah. And they care about it. They want to know. Yeah.
That's where I see, community also. It could build solidarity, intergeneration solidarity, and also, local communities. Where, we say, hey, we live in such and such city and we have over here this chairs that we do. So we should not anymore get chairs from outside because we know what this chair is about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Common sense.
Yes.
Yeah. I love how it had been flowing, because at some point it was kind of still utopian. Not utopian, but at least positive. Then it became very dystopian. And then we covered both the aspects. We got it into the whole thing with the push and pull, right? I like that. I like that. Awesome. So the last prompt. Jansu, you already did it. You already coined a word called ghost corporate, which I really love. But what is any other word? Like, what is a new word that you would coin in a world like this? One way to look at it is look at the emotions and see what are the push and pull people are feeling. And because of that,
Yes.
somehow the board is gone. One second. Yes. Yeah. So what is some word that one word that
I think Heis also said consumer court or something like that, which really struck me.
Yeah, but then that already exists. What about
oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Does it though? I don't know of any such thing. I'm
never
talking
heard.
of like a citizen's jury, and now you've got a consumer jury.
Yeah.
So
yeah, maybe
there's
not
the brand that's actually on trial, and
Yeah.
the jury are just consumers.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, then that exists. Okay. Somehow I'm losing the board for some reason. I'll just write it here. Any other word? Oh, we are here. Yes. Yes. Ghost corporation, consumer court, jury. Awesome. 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 Yay.
I'm wondering about this other dimension you mentioned, Jansu, that the trusting things that you know, that you've experienced, that you have like firsthand interaction with. Is there a word for that? It feels like some kind of a liberation.
Yeah. Say that again, please. I started thinking and I lost what I was thinking about.
You're describing this trend, which is kind of post all this cat and mouse game, that there's the opposite of the alienation. So,
yes,
the people recognizing that they can trust value chains and production processes that they can experience firsthand, that they can see, that they can that they can verify, personally. So yeah, that's why I was wondering: is there what word comes to mind?
You want to throw words and kind of push the thing?
Yeah. So I was jokingly saying like common sense, but
yeah,
I felt it's a bit like that. No, it's a bit like. So I felt like it's liberating. It's freeing from all the washing, all the mask, all the in between stuff. So it has something very direct, visceral.
Yes.
First hand. Experiential economy.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I don't know. The big contrast in my mind was, capitalist economy versus what's called a subsistence economy, in which you really subsistence economy is what all the agricultural communities around the world has been, especially in the non-Western world, because industrialization came later. Still, we have subsistence economies that, engage in, let's say growing food, and then only the excess of what they have, and it's for their own purpose, but for the excess of what they have, they still sell it. They do engage in commerce, but it's not the same as capitalist consumption or production. So it's something that is not really substance economy, subsistence, sorry, subsistence economy, but it's not really the capitalist economy as we know.
Yeah, because with subsistence, I'm thinking of like basic needs, whereas here I feel like you could even you can be an artist, but as long as people see you making your art, they can trust it. So you can have a follower base as long as there's a direct experience.
That's what, but that's it about the subsistence communities, is that even if there are things that they buy, because they also generate money, they engage in commerce from the surplus of their what they recolted, they still know they don't, buy from far away. It's still local consumption, but this is not just local consumption. So
yeah, it's somehow maybe relationship based, or
trust based,
like the direct relational, how to say.
Because I don't think that, for example, this kind of technology would not be there. Like this,
IoT,
if we have a
IoTs can still do that. Yeah.
This
IoT
long
and
distance,
blockchain. Yeah, like
yeah,
both the
communication
combination.
could
The whole
still,
journey.
yeah. So it's true that you trust things that you have direct experience, but it doesn't necessarily. I'm not sure, but my assumption is that it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to like be able to physically touch it. Like it could be in a trusted, as long as it comes from a trusted source. So somehow the trusted source should not be intermediated by some entity that can be co-opted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also don't know what's the word.
Trust-based economy or something like that. Trust combined with something.
Yeah, but we have that word already. I was looking for a new word.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Transparency. What else? What are the other words?
Yeah, me too. I'm getting all these words that have already been dirtied.
Yeah. So guide us, Deepshika. Does the vocabulary of the future not have words from the past?
It could combine two words. That's one way to go about it. It could merge two words. It could be something with a different spelling as well.
Like you have LGBTHIQ plus, and we can just have like trust plus economy.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe Tom and Jerry economy.
Oh yeah.
I really love it.
I like that. I like that. Like this defines the whole paradigm that they are in. Yeah.
Thank you.
Imagine the big thought leaders coming on stage and talking about Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure the world will be more fun in this time in the future. So maybe we'll be less serious and we'll have more common sense and we'll have more humor in the way we coin terms, even if they are talking about serious things.
Yeah, then maybe that all those mob thingies, that carrot mobs are really very fun.
Yeah.
With humor, sarcasm also. Yeah.
Yeah, because if this is in future, there's still gonna be memes. There's still gonna be social media. There's gonna be a lot of humor around this.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, with that, this is a wrap. But any thoughts, shares, whatever, we now have time to just talk.
I love it. It's almost like I got a response to my prayers. I don't know. Somehow I've been hanging out a lot with friends lately and keep mentioning that we need something like not a game, but something, some activity, something like these Orwellians do when they dream weave, but like still makes sense for us, and because we're not from Orwell. And I think I'm definitely gonna push a lot of friends into this.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. And I love the world that you guys created. Like you went right off, and it is a possible reality, right? So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm surprised how fast we can
Exactly.
go there. You know,
Yeah.
It did feel like it's totally realistic, and and also in quite a distant future. Like I can see this in like 20, 30 years. It feels really, yeah. Yeah, like I said at the beginning, I can do this 500 times.
Yeah, I like
Yes,
that.
yes, it was so refreshing. I really, at the same time, I was talking about problems that exist in today's world, but at the same time, I felt like, you know, I had this, I don't know, I had some power over it, and it was just back and forth between all of us, and it was just like, okay, it's not A or B. There's C, D, E, F, G, H. You know, I really understood how much possibilities one future can really hold more clearly. Even though when you know, put that slide on, I was like, yeah, of course there are many possibilities. Now I'm like, yeah, there's like,
Wow. But I'm also very impressed, like how quickly you guys were able to just run with it completely.
is it because we're in small group? Does it happen usually in bigger groups?
Yes, yes. What ends up happening towards the end, like there are two, three different ways it happens. People start asking questions which the thought leaders are at the moment asking, like they really jump to that level, things that are unanswered about this kind of future, or they come up with like something like, I do not want to live in this future. Because even if it seems real, like because it seems realistic and it can happen in our lifetime, that realization, whenever that dawns, somebody or the other will always tell me, I do not want to go to this future. Even if it's a utopian one, but it just feels so sometimes so creepy, sometimes very futuristic. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for me, what was interesting at the in the end, two things I observed. One was when Jansu was talking about this like direct experience.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, "Whoa, why does that sound so strange to me?" Like, you know, that's something that's not healthy. Like, if like it's a revelation to actually know where stuff comes from, it says something about how far alienated I am, and I assume everybody else is, and that becomes the norm. So that was a bit of a shocker to me. And the other bit, when we're talking about these words of the future, you know, when we're talking about like subsistence and things that we've seen in the past, yeah, I was wondering, yeah, whether because I was rejecting it because it wasn't different than what we have seen in the past. But maybe it's okay. Maybe history repeats itself, and you know. But yeah, so these were just two observations about yeah, this experience.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll keep doing more and more of these different tools instead. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much, Deepshika. Thanks, Jansu, for being our guinea pig.
Thank you so much, Deepshika. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Tom and Jerry
Such
economy.
a pleasure having you here.
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah. We'll be the first ones to recognize it when it happens.
Yeah.
Let's call each other that day.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, and let me know, Jansu, if you find futurism tools and you play with your friends. I'm also very keen to be involved.
Yes, yes, definitely I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yay, thank you.
I think by the way, I don't know if you're home, no? You're in Orville.
Me, yes.
Yeah. I thought suddenly because EcoFam is going through so much, this could be a good exercise for them also about imagining the future of EcoFam.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll put in a word here.
Yeah. That's why I asked if you're home.
Nice one. Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, peoples.
Alrighty.
Bye, everybody. Have a good day.
See you next time.
See you soon.
Ciao, ciao.